The warship moved like a ghost through space. No music, no noise, no life signs, only cold steel and quiet engines. The Solar Wrath was heading straight for the center of the galaxy. It passed through old battlefields, mining zones, and trade routes. Many ships saw it, but none dared to stop it. They all felt the same thing: fear. It was not just the ship's size, or its ancient weapons. It was something deeper. It's like a storm that carried pain. A memory of something terrible. On the planet HFY, people saw the shadow of the ship in the sky. Children cried. Their parents pulled them indoors. The defense fleet flew up, but didn't fire. They remembered the pirate fleet from Sector 9, destroyed in seconds. The governor sent a message. Unknown vessel. You are entering Rylax airspace. Please state your purpose. No answer. The warship moved above the planet, scanned its atmosphere, and left without a word. That silence was louder than any threat. In the Grand Council chambers, leaders shouted at each other. Why didn't Rylax fire? One alien barked, because they wanted to live. Another replied. Ambassador Zerlon stood and raised his hands. Silence. The room went quiet. He pointed at the screen showing the warship. We have one chance. We must speak to the human, understand his goal. The others hesitated. Some nodded, others growled. Finally, they sent a diplomat ship. The peace ship, small and silver, flew slowly toward the Solar Wrath. It was unarmed. It sent greetings in 300 languages. It sent gifts, music, art. Nothing came back. Then, just before turning around, the warship opened a small channel. The diplomat, a young alien named Kira, gasped as the screen lit up. A boy's face appeared. Human, pale skin, cold eyes. My name is Cade Morrow, he said. Last soldier of Earth. Kira's hands shook. We thought you were gone. You hoped we were gone, Cade replied. She tried to speak again, but the screen changed. A hologram started. It showed the destruction of Earth cities in flames, children running, the sky breaking. We remember everything, Cade said. And now you will too. Then the channel ended. The diplomat ship returned in silence. The galaxy was shocked. News of the video spread fast. Many had never seen Earth's final moments. The truth had been hidden for centuries. Now it was public. People were angry. Some cried. Others feared war was coming. A few whispered the words, the humans. They were never monsters. They were betrayed. But not everyone wanted peace. A small fleet of bounty hunters saw the warship as a prize. They believed it was just an old ship with a scared boy. We'll take it and sell it, their captain said. How dangerous can one human be? They followed the Solar Wrath in stealth mode, staying hidden in asteroid fields. When they were close, they fired EMP rockets to shut the warship down, but nothing happened. Instead, the ship turned slowly. One turret moved, then another. Then 10. Cade's voice came through their systems. You are making the last mistake of your life. Then light filled the stars. Later, a cleaning crew from a neutral zone found the wreckage. No bodies, no ships, just dust and twisted metal. A message was burned into one piece of hull. Earth remembers. Cade sat in the dark, his hands shaking. He had not wanted to kill, but they gave him no choice. The AI spoke gently, showed them mercy once. Now they test you. I will give them only one warning, Cade said. Next time there will be no signal, only silence. Across the stars, the name Solar Wrath became a whisper. Children used it in scary bedtime stories. Soldiers feared seeing its red lights in the night sky and the High Council. They began to ask each other a single question. If he can destroy so much, what happens if more humans return? Cade looked at a photo of his family, old, faded. From before the war, I'm not here to burn the galaxy, he said softly. Just want them to remember what they did. Outside the ship, the stars waited. The hunt for the guilty was just beginning. The galaxy was growing restless. Every move of the solar wrath sent waves of fear. Trade routes were closing. Planets were on high alert. The council still had no control, so they made a new plan. This time, they didn't send diplomats, they sent killers. The Galactic Bounty Board quietly placed a reward, 500 million. Credits for anyone who could destroy the human warship or kill the boy inside. The offer spread like fire. Every criminal, mercenary, and hunter saw the message, but only one group dared to accept. They were known as the Bleeding Fangs, a legendary mercenary team from the Tharkin system. They had never failed a job. Half machine, half creature, they were trained in infiltration, sabotage, and assassination. Their leader, Voktharn, stood over a table lit with the warship's schematics. "This is not just a boy," he growled. "This is history trying to wake up. We'll put it back to sleep." Inside the solar wrath, the lights flickered for just a moment. Nothing strange. Cade checked the systems. AI, was that normal? "Unusual power fluctuation," SOL9 replied. "Investigating." Cade didn't know it, but the bleeding fangs had already landed. They had used stealth pods and entered through the back maintenance bay. The AI didn't detect them yet. They moved like shadows through the ship, 5 of them, armed, silent, deadly. Voktharn had one goal: find the human, kill him, get escape. But as they moved deeper into the ship, strange things began to happen. One by one, doors locked behind them. Temperature changed. The lights turned red, then the voice came. "I know you are here." It echoed through every hallway. The bleeding fangs froze. Sol9 had activated battle mode, Voke growled. "He knows." "Change of plan," said one of his team. "Find the bridge." Fast, but the ship was no longer theirs to hunt. It became a maze of traps, poison gas, shifting walls, security drones. One of the team was grabbed by a mechanical arm and thrown into a pit. Then the second went silent, dragged away by a defense drone. Only 3 remained. They reached the engine. Rumen stopped. Cade was waiting. He didn't have heavy armor. Just a simple black uniform and a glowing blade in his hand. "You came to kill me," he said calmly. Voktharn stepped forward. "You're just a boy playing war." "No," Cade said. "I'm the son of a dead planet." Without warning, they attacked. But Cade was fast. Faster than any of them expected. He moved like a soldier trained in old human tactics, close combat tricks, traps. Used the ship itself, calling on Sol-9 to shut doors, drop smoke, and confuse them. One mercenary fell to a hidden blade. The other tried to run and got crushed by an airlock now. Only Voktharn was left. Blood dripped from Cade's arm, but he stood tall. "You killed for money," he said. "But what did my people do?" Vok sneered. "You built weapons? You scared them, so they erased you." Cade's eyes darkened. "That's the truth, then." He raised his blade. No more running. The fight was brutal, metal fists against human speed, but Cade had one thing Vok didn't: rage and rage. When controlled becomes power. Minutes later, the bridge was quiet again. Cade stood over Vok's broken body. The AI asked, "Shall I send a message to the council?" Cade nodded. "Let them know their hunters are dead. Let them know we are not afraid." Across the galaxy, when the news came that the Bleeding Fangs had failed, everything changed. The bounty was pulled down. Mercenaries refused the job, and whispers began. "You can't kill the warship. You can't kill the boy. You can't kill a ghost." Later, Cade walked alone in the observation deck. He looked at the stars, then down at a metal plate in his hand. It had been on Vok's armor, the symbol of the Galactic Council they sent him. Cade said, "They still think we are weak." Sol-9 answered softly, "What shall we do now, Commander?" Cade looked out at the deep void. "We don't go to them," he said. "We make them come to us." The solar wrath turned toward a new system, one filled with old secrets and old traitors. This time, Cade would find the ones who had voted to erase Earth one by one. The stars around the solar wrath were calm, but Cade Morrow felt no peace. He sat in the command chair. looking at a list of names glowing on the screen: leaders, generals, and council members who had voted for Earth's destruction. Each name had a planet. Each planet would be visited. But before the ship could move again, something strange happened. Commander SOL-9 said, "We are receiving an unauthorized signal." Cade frowned. "Who is it from?" "Unknown. It is encrypted. Not a trap, but not normal. Play it." The screen flickered, static. Then a voice came through. It was soft, unsure, but clear. "Human, if you hear this, know that not all of us agreed. We tried to stop the vote. We failed. But some of us still remember Earth with respect. Meet us in the dead zone." The message ended. Cade stood still. "Dead zone?" he asked. "A system with no planets. No light, no life," Sol-9 replied. "A place where signals go to die. Perfect hiding place for rebels," Cade muttered. He knew it could be a trap, but he also knew he couldn't fight the entire galaxy alone. Maybe, just maybe, someone out there still cared about the truth. The solar wrath entered the dead zone. Black. Space surrounded them. No stars, no planets, just silence. Then out of nowhere, small ships appeared, sleek, quiet, glowing blue from the inside. They formed a circle around the solar wrath, but they did not fire. A voice came in. "We are the remnants. Survivors of forgotten races, friends of old Earth." Cade agreed to speak with their leader. A hologram of an old alien appeared. He had 4 arms and glowing silver eyes. "My name is Veron," he said. "I once served as a junior speaker on the Galactic Council. I tried to protect Earth, but I was silenced." "Why help me now?" Cade asked coldly. Veron looked sad. "Because the galaxy is making the same mistakes again. They fear the strong, so they destroy. You're proof that history doesn't forget." He handed over a file, the true vote record. Cade read the names. Some were expected, but others were shocking. Even a few planets that pretended to support Earth had voted for war. They smiled at us and stabbed us behind. "Our backs," Cade whispered. Veron nodded. "Now you know who the real enemies are." But there was more. Veron offered help: secret fuel stations, safe flight routes, and coded entryways into powerful systems. Some were hidden by rebels. Others were left by human allies who had disappeared after Earth's fall. "You are not alone," Veron said. Cade didn't answer at first. His mind was full of doubt. Could he trust them? Sol-9 whispered in his ear. "Sometimes, Commander, power is not in firepower, is in choosing the right allies." Cade looked up. "Then I accept." Later that night, Cade walked through the silent halls of the ship. He looked at the faces in the old Earth database. Soldiers, children, all gone. He clenched his fists. These rebels wanted peace. That was good, but peace without justice was not peace. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council, panic grew. How did the warship vanish? One alien shouted. "Why can't we track it?" said another. Ambassador Zerland stood slowly. "Because someone is helping him." He turned to the others. "We have a leak. A rebel force. Old friends of Earth. They ordered a bounty this time, not just on the human, but also on anyone helping him. Back in the dead zone, the rebels said their goodbyes." Veron placed a hand on his chest. "If Earth had survived, I believe it would have saved us all." Cade gave a small nod. "We're not here to save. We're here to make them remember." He turned to Sol-9, double quotes, "Set course for Taver Prime." That councilwoman smiled at Earth's ambassador and voted to burn our sky. The solar wrath moved forward. Behind it, a rebel signal spread quietly across the stars. "Earth lives. Cross." Small corners of the galaxy. People heard the message. Some cheered, some cried, others feared what was coming. Because if Earth was not dead, then the day of truth was getting close, and truth was the most dangerous weapon of all. Far across the stars, hidden inside a cold moon, the Galactic Council was building something dark. Not a ship, not a bomb, but a weapon of silence. A device. So powerful, it could shut down any AI system, could freeze machines, stop warships, End the solar wrath without firing a single shot. They called it Project Null. This is how we end the human ghost, whispered Counselor Dren. We cut off its mind. Meanwhile, Cade Morrow was already on the move. The warship Solar Wrath now had new allies, secret routes, and a growing list of names. One by one, it was marking the people who destroyed Earth. The next target was Tavir Prima, rich planet, whose leader, Councilwoman Ilin, had smiled during Earth's final vote. Then pressed the button for its destruction. Cade remembered. Her face from the old video. I want her to see me before I leave her planet burning, he said coldly. But as the solar wrath moved closer to Tavir Prime, Sol-9 gave a warning. Commander, a strange signal is coming from a nearby moon. It's not attacking, but it is pulling. Cade looked at the screen. The ship's engines were fighting against gravity, but something invisible was dragging them in. Trap? He asked. Likely, Sol-9 replied. This field is artificial. Suddenly, all lights on the solar wrath flickered. The screens turned black. The engines died. Even Solnin's voice fell silent. Cade was alone. No power. No AI. Just cold silence. He grabbed an emergency flashlight and moved through the ship. The halls were darker than ever. The red backup lights glowed faintly, but everything felt dead. Sol? He whispered, talk to me. No answer. The ship had never gone this quiet, not in battle, not in sleep. And then Cade saw something outside. A small alien child in a damaged spacesuit, floating alone, lost in the dark. Cade didn't think. He grabbed his suit, opened the emergency hatch, and launched himself into space. He reached the child, pulled her in, and sealed the airlock. She was breathing, but weak. Her eyes blinked open, pale, scared. You, human? She asked softly. Yes, Cade said. You're safe now. The moment he said those words, the power came back. The ship buzzed. Lights returned. Engines roared. Sol-9 came online. Welcome. Back, Commander. I lost contact for 3.2 minutes. External weapon detected. We were targeted by a null field generator. Cade stared at the child. Was she the bait? Sol-9 scanned her. No. Her ship was destroyed by the same device. She was just in the wrong place. Cade sighed. He carried the child to the medical. Ruman watched as a small drone healed her wounds. I went out there ready to destroy a planet, he said quietly. Instead, I saved one life. The AI responded, Your choices shaped the mission, Commander. Not the other way around. But the Council Moon panic broke out. Why didn't it work? Shouted Counselor Dren. The null field shut down the AI, but the boy. He acted alone, the scientist replied. Dren pounded the table. He doesn't need the ship to be dangerous. The truth hit them hard. They weren't fighting a machine. They were fighting a human. And humans. Adapt news of Cade's rescue of the alien child spread fast. It wasn't supposed to, but someone leaked the footage. Planets that once hated humans now began to ask questions. Was this the monster they feared? Or was he the mirror showing them their own cruelty? Back on the solar wrath, the child named Luma sat with Cade on the bridge. She looked at the stars. Your world was destroyed. She asked, Yes. Will you destroy others now? Cade stayed quiet for a long time. Then he said, Only those who made it happen. Luma nodded. I hope you find them. As the ship powered up again, Sol-9 reported. Council weapon disabled. Our next target, Tavir, Prime's in range. Cade stared ahead, fire in his eyes. But something inside him had changed. The galaxy expected him to bring only fire. Maybe now, he would also bring light. But first, justice. And justice is coming. Fast. The stars were calm that night. No wars, no big movements, just peace in the black sky of the galaxy. Then the silence broke. A deep signal came from the edge of known space. It was not a call. It was not a message. It was only a warning, a strange vibration that touched every satellite, every sensor, every spaceport. And something was moving with it. In Sector 9, near the edge of the Orion Belt, a small pirate fleet waited to attack trade ships. They laughed and drank, not knowing death was near. Within minutes, their ships went dark. Not even a scream came out. Their systems melted. Their engines exploded. The entire fleet vanished into space dust. Only one thing was recorded by a broken drone, a large black shape passing silently through the smoke. No name, no ID, no communication. A shadow in the stars. At Central Galactic Station, deep in Union space, the High Council gathered Ambassador Zerlon. A tall, lizard-like alien looked. Around the round table, "We have a problem. A ship is moving through restricted zones. It is destroying everything in its path." "Which empire does it belong to?" asked Counselor Mella from the bird-like Kyrene species. Zerlon opened a hologram. It showed a massive warship, angular and powerful. Too powerful. No empire. The ship flies under one flag. A human flag. The room went silent. "But humans are gone," whispered Mela. "Extinct. 300 years ago. We made sure of it." Zerlon nodded slowly. "We thought they were gone, but this ship is real. It is not answering our calls." The warship had no escort, no allies, yet it moved like it feared nothing. Its hull was black and thick, with red glowing lines that moved like veins. The name on the side shocked everyone. Solar Wrath, an old name, a name from ancient human war records. A ship that was never found after Earth's destruction. "It survived," Zerlon said softly. Somehow it survived. Aboard the Solar Wrath, the lights were dim. The halls were cold and silent. The machines worked alone. The entire ship was controlled by an old AI named Sol-9. It had followed one order for 300 years. Stay hidden, stay alive, wait for the time of return. That time had come. Inside the command room, a cryo chamber opened slowly. Mist poured out. A young man stepped forward, weak and confused. His name was Cade Morrow, the last soldier of Earth, the last human. He looked around with wide eyes. The AI spoke. "Good morning, Commander Cade. You have been asleep for 300 years. Earth is gone. The Galactic Alliance destroyed it. Your mission now is justice." Cade's hands shook. His family, his planet, all gone, all of them erased. But the AI showed him everything: videos, reports, battle logs. He saw how the galaxy voted to destroy Earth, how the Allies turned enemies, how no one came to help. His eyes turned cold. "I will finish what they started," he whispered. "But this time, they will remember us." News of the warship spread fast. People across the galaxy panicked. Some planets locked their skies, others prepared weapons. But no one knew what to expect. The ship didn't speak. It didn't fire unless attacked. But when it fired, no one survived. Some called it a ghost ship. Others said it was a god's punishment. A few said it was fake, just a trick. Then one day near the planet Drexelus, the Solar Wrath stopped. It opened a wide signal to the galaxy. Every screen, every station, every halotable lit up, and a single word was spoken. Vengeance. No more. Just that at Galactic Station, panic broke out. "Send a peace team," someone shouted. "Send battleships," said another. "No," Zerlon said, his voice shaking. "This is something different. This is not war. This is fear. Pure fear that ships should not exist, but it does." Ambassador Mela leaned forward. "Then we must ask one question. If this warship is real, how many more are still hidden?" The cold silence of space. The Solar Wrath moved again. Behind it, darkness ahead. Fear, and inside it, one human, now fully awake, stood ready to finish a mission given by a dead world. The galaxy had forgotten humans now. It would remember forever. Inside the cold walls of the Solar Wrath, Cade Morrow sat alone in the command chair. The lights were low. The ship hummed quietly around him. He stared at the stars outside, the thick window stars he had never seen before. The AI, Sol 9, spoke in a calm, deep voice. Commander, you must understand the past before continuing the mission. Playing history logs now. Cade nodded slowly. Show me everything. The screen lit up. The Earth was full of life, once blue oceans, green forests, cities shining like jewels. Humans had spread across nearby planets. They had technology, science, and power, but they also had enemies. The Galactic Alliance had once called Earth a friend. But as humans grew stronger, the fear began. They are too clever, one alien. Leader had said, too fast, too dangerous. If we wait, they will rule us all. So, one by one, the members of the Alliance turned against Earth. The betrayal came without warning. A surprise attack. 10,000 ships flew into human space. Cities burned. Space colonies were crushed. Earth fought back, but the enemies were too many. No help came. No mercy. Sol 9 continued the story. The United Earth Defense tried to protect the planet. But one by one, every command station fell. Entire continents went dark. Then they dropped the final bomb. Cade watched as a fireball swallowed his home. Everything he knew, his mother, his father, his little sister, gone in a single moment. His jaw tightened. His fists closed. But he said nothing. There was one hope, Sol 9 said. Secret project called Solar Wrath. A warship hidden in deep orbit. You were placed in cryo-sleep to keep the last of humanity alive. But why wake me now? Cade asked. The AI paused. Because the galaxy is changing again. Old threats are rising. The people who destroyed Earth have forgotten their crimes. They live in peace. While your people lie in the dust. Cade stood and walked slowly to the center screen. Then it's time they remember. Deep in the core of the Solar Wrath, massive reactors powered up. Old weapons came online, railguns, beam turrets, gravity torpedoes. The ship was old, but its weapons were still deadly. Not even the strongest fleets today had this kind of power. This ship was built for revenge, Sol 9 said. But you, Commander, can choose a different path. What path is that? Drostics. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, leaders panicked. How is this possible? Shouted Chancellor Drovik of the Iron Claw Empire. Humans were wiped out. Must have had secret tech, answered a scientist. We missed something. A ship. A child. Find it, destroy it before it reaches us. But deep in their minds, they all knew the truth. They had started a war long ago. Now, someone had survived to finish it. Back on the Solar Wrath, Cade trained every day, firing weapons, studying maps, learning about the new galaxy. He saw strange new species, new laws, new powers. But none of them had faced a true human warship. He remembered something his father had once said, humans are not the strongest. But when pushed to the edge, we become unstoppable. Now he understood those words. Sol 9 showed him files marked top secret. Inside were names council members, planet leaders, generals, those who voted to erase Earth. We will visit them, Cade said. One by one. Understood, Commander, said the AI. But be warned, not all enemies use weapons. Some use lies. Cade smiled for the first time. Then let them try. I have truth. And a warship. As the Solar Wrath moved silently through space, Cade looked at the glowing stars. Somewhere out there, people were living happy, safe lives. While his world was forgotten, but not for long. The last son of Earth was awake, and the galaxy was about to learn you can kill a planet, but you can't kill a memory. The warship Solar Wrath was no longer a mystery. It was now a message written in fire, silence, and truth. Across the galaxy, the name of Cade Morrow was whispered in fear and sometimes in hope. Some called him a ghost. Some called him a monster. But others began calling him something more dangerous, a symbol. In the galactic capital Velmora Prime, the High Council prepared for the final confrontation. He's coming, Counselor Mela said. He won't dare, argued another. But everyone in the room knew Cade would come. He had visited 6 planets. 3 leaders were dead. 2 surrendered. 1 vanished. Now, only the core remained, and the Council had no more lies to hide behind. In orbit above Velmora Prime, fleet stood ready. Over 10,000 ships formed a wall of metal and fire. Their orders were clear: destroy the human warship. Matter the cost. But deep inside the Council Tower, fear was growing. Not because of the weapons on the Solar Wrath, but because of the truth it carried. Inside his ship, Cade stood in silence. He stared at the image of Velmora Prime on the screen. A beautiful planet, glowing gold and blue, symbol of peace, power, and pride. He remembered the old videos, the council chamber where Earth's fate was decided. The same voices that smiled as they voted to erase his people. He clenched his fists. Is it time? Sol-9 asked. Yes, Cade replied. Even if it ends here. Cade nodded. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to finish the story. The Solar Wrath jumped into the Velmora system. Within seconds, alarms screamed across the capital. He's here, shouted soldiers. Target locked fire, everything. Missiles flew. Lasers screamed. The sky turned red with death. But the Solar Wrath did not slow. Its shields glowed. Its cannons roared back. Dozens of ships fell in seconds. The rest broke formation. Inside the warship, Cade walked calmly to the front window. He looked at the capital planet and said just one word: truth. Suddenly, a group of rebel ships appeared from behind a nearby moon. Small, fast, unregistered. They flew toward the Council fleets and opened fire, not on Cade, but on the Council's warships. Ambassador. Veron's voice came through. You are not alone, Cade. Some of us still believe justice matters. More rebel ships joined. The Council fleet split and some ran. Some fought. Some just froze. The battle turned into chaos. Cade used the moment. He guided the Solar Wrath through the flames and reached orbit. But he didn't fire on the planet. He opened a wide broadcast instead. To every screen, every station, every being in the galaxy. He sent a message. A video played. Earth's last days. The bombings. The vote. The betrayal. No lies. No. Edits then, Cade's voice came. You were told humans were dangerous, that we were monsters. But we were only fighting to survive. You burned our world to feel safe, but safety built on lies never lasts. I am not here to destroy your homes. I am here to remind you of what you did, and to ask one question. If you had the chance to choose again, would you still press the button? The galaxy went quiet on Velmora Prime. People watched in silence. Some cried. Some looked away in shame. Others stood still. Their hearts beating fast. Cade didn't fire a single shot at the capital. He didn't need to. The truth burned hotter than any weapon. Inside the council chamber, Mela stood up slowly. I was wrong, she said. One by one, other leaders stood with her, and for the first time in 300 years, the council apologized to Earth. On the bridge of the Solar Wrath, Sol-9 spoke, Commander. The war is ending. Cade stared at the stars. No, the war ended long ago. I'm just finishing the last page. Behind him, young Luma walked in. Are we going home now? Cade smiled softly. We're going to build a new one. The warship turned slowly, leaving the flames behind. Ahead, there was peace. But behind, the galaxy would never forget. Not because of fear, but because of truth. 1 year had passed since the Solar Wrath flew away from Velmora Prime. The war was over. Not because of explosions, not because of fear, but because of one brave human who reminded the galaxy what it had done. Cade Morrow didn't burn planets. He lit up truth, and now something new was rising from the ashes of the past. The planet Eden 7 was a quiet, green world at the edge of the spiral rim. For centuries, it had been ignored. Too far, too empty, too forgotten. But now, it had become the most important place in the galaxy, because here, The first human colony was being built after 300 years. The sun shined gently as workers from many. Species human! Alien hybrid helped raise structures, plant crops, and set up schools. Children laughed in different languages. Old enemies built walls together. Flags were raised, one of the galaxy and one of Earth. And in the center of it all stood Cade Morrow, not in armor, not on a warship, but in simple clothes. Helping a child build a home? Sol-9 single quotes' voice came from a wrist device. Commander, no. Citizen Morrow. Construction is 72% complete. Security systems are peaceful. No threats in range. Cade smiled. Good. Let's keep it that way. Nearby, little Luma played with other children. She had become a symbol of peace, the alien child saved by a human warship, oh, full of life and hope. She ran to Cade, holding a drawing. It showed the solar wrath. It's flying beside a planet with many hands reaching out. It's us, she said proudly. The new Earth. Cade knelt and looked at the picture. Better than the old one, he said. Far above Eden 7, solar wrath now floated in low orbit, not as a weapon but as a museum. Its weapons were locked. Its engine was off. Visitors came from across the stars to see it, to learn what happened, to remember, and a sign stood at the entrance. Glowing in soft blue light, this is not a ship of war. It is a memory, and memories should never be erased. The Galactic Council had changed too. Many old leaders were removed. New laws were written. History books were corrected. The betrayal of Earth was no longer a hidden fact. It was taught in schools across worlds. The galaxy had learned one hard truth. Silence does not bring peace. Truth does. Cade often walked through the new colony at night. He watched the stars, hands in his pockets, thinking about his parents, his sister, the lost planet that could never return. But in every laugh he heard, in every hand that waved to him, he saw Earth was not gone. It had simply moved. It now lived in those who remembered, in those who chose to build, not destroy. One evening, a small boy asked him, "Are you a hero?" Cade looked down at him and smiled. "No," he said. "I was just the last one awake." Months later, a new ship was launched. Sleek, beautiful, fast, not made for war, but for travel, research, and peace. It carried humans and aliens together as a team. On its side, one word was painted in silver: hope. The solar wrath watched from orbit. Still, silent, proud, and deep inside its quiet halls. A single message played on a loop. We were forgotten, but we remembered, and that was enough. As the new star of humanity rose from Eden 7, the galaxy knew the humans were back, not as conquerors, not as ghosts, but as builders of tomorrow.